Hi guys, it's Madeline. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm doing a book review on a book series. I'm hoping she will come out with more books, but like for this series, but I'm not sure. But it's the End With Us series. I got the second one yesterday and I literally read it in one day. I read a little bit last night and I finished the rest today. So I was just like, it was so cute, but we're gonna get to that. Anyway, I'm gonna start with It Ends With Us because that's the first book of the series. And basically these reviews are gonna contain spoilers, so sorry about that if you haven't read these books. But I really want to put my full review out there and everything. So yeah, I'm going to start with this book. It's called It Ends With Us by Colleen Hoover. And this book, it like broke my heart. I was literally sobbing at the end of this. I almost cried in class while reading this book. There was a lot of shocked faces in class when I read this as well, because with school, when I would finish my work, I would take out a book and read, because a lot of my classes wouldn't let me on my phone. So it's just like, let me just read, because I was really into reading at that time. So I was like, alright, I'd rather just read a book instead of be on my phone after I was finished my work, you know? So I brought this book with me when I got it, because I got it over a weekend, and then I literally read it in like a week, like that whole week throughout school. And like I said, a lot of shocked faces, and I almost cried during school. It was bad. But anyway, here's my review on this. So it's about this girl named Lily. Her name is Lily Bloom, and she works at this flower shop, and she like has some sass in her, but she's kind of outspoken. And she meets this neurosurgeon guy named Ryle Kincaid, and he's all like fancy with his scrubs, and like he's very smart and handsome and everything you want in a guy, or at least you think, right? Alright, so the relationship was fine up until this happens. So one day he was at Lily's house when like they were getting to know each other, and they were making something in the oven and it burned, and Ryle went to like go get it out of the oven, and it burned his hand as he was taking it out. And obviously as a neurosurgeon, it's very important for you to have your hand, like that's one of the most important parts of your body if you're a surgeon. So he's like freaking out. He's like, oh my god, like my hand, like I need this to be fine because I have a huge surgery coming up. Like he's stressing about it. And Lily just kind of laughed off. She's like, like you'll be fine, like it's not a big deal. But Ryle gets pissed and he pushes Lily, and I'm like, oh hell no, sir, you don't put your hands on anyone, that's not okay. But no, if you think that was the worst one, it gets a lot worse. So anyway, one time Lily tells him, she's like, I'm busy tonight, like my mom's meeting me for dinner. And Ryle was being very desperate, and he's like, oh my gosh, let me go with you, let me meet her, like if we're gonna make this work, like I gotta meet your mama, you know? And so they went to this dinner once, and they meet this guy who was a part of Lily's past named Atlas. He is my baby. I'll get more into him later, but anyway, so works at a restaurant. He's a chef. So when Lily sees him, she's like, oh crap, like oh my god, like this is not good. And so Atlas pulls her to the bathroom because he notices she has a bruise on her eye, and he like pulls her to the bathroom, and he's like, what's going on with you? Like, are you okay? Like, what happened? Why is there a bruise on your eye? And obviously he's like worried as heck about her, because she's with this guy that is supposed to love her, but like he ain't good. So he's like, oh my gosh, like to make sure you're okay, I'm gonna give you my phone number, and like you could keep it with you in case you ever need to call me, like I'll be there for you if you need anything. And so one day, Ryle was at her house again, and he finds the phone number to Atlas, and again, gets pissed. And he also finds a magnet that Atlas has given Lily when they were younger. I'll get more into that story in a second, but I'm just telling you about the horrible Ryle first to get him out of the way, because I literally hate him. Anyway, so he finds the phone number, and again, he's pissed, and he pushes her down the stairs. Again, hell no, bro. Hell no. You ain't doing that. You stay away from her. You're not putting hands on anyone, bro. And this was really hard for Lily to deal with. All these multiple times that he would push her down the stairs, hit her, push her, bite her, like anything that he did to her that was physical was just horrible, because Lily's whole childhood was basically that, because her dad was very physically abusive to her mother. So that was basically her childhood, and she obviously did not want to live that as an adult, because like, no. And then basically with Atlas, okay, now that we're done talking about Ryo and what he did to her, because horrible, but Atlas was a guy that lived where Lily lived when she was little. Oh yeah, I gotta get to that part too, her dad as well. So they were little, and they met on the bus. Actually, it's kind of cute. Like once they started talking with each other and stuff, they would because they ended up dating when they were younger, and they like held hands on the bus and stuff. It was just so cute. Like even when they were like 16 years old, I still loved their relationship. I was like, oh my god, this needs to last. Like, it's so cute, you know? Okay, but one day, so they're a little older, and they've been together for a while, so you know what couples do. They do the I'm not gonna say it, but you know what I'm talking about, right? So they do that, and Lily forgot to close her door one night when he was over. Yeah, that was the other thing. So Atlas was homeless because, oh, I'll tell you more about it in the second book, but basically Atlas was homeless, so he had nowhere to go. He was just sit in the cold, and Lily felt so bad because she would see him all the time, like freezing cold. So she'd be like, all right, like come stay with me for the night, like it's okay, my parents won't mind. And she would like invite him in late at night so her parents would never find out. But anyway, like I said, so one day she forgot to close their door, and he stayed over, and her father comes in the room, and her father was definitely not okay with her having a guy sleeping in that same bed as her. And he gets up in there and beats Atlas with a baseball bat. I'm like, hell no! You beating a kid with a baseball bat just because you don't want him to be with your daughter. Like, that's not gonna fly with me. Anyway, but yeah, their relationship when they were younger were really cute. Okay, now we can flash back to like present day with Ryle. So sadly, they ended up getting married, which I thought was so stupid. That part of the book I thought was stupid, because why would you want to be with someone like that? Well, the pushing her down the stairs happened after they were married, so that was kind of, well, that and another fight was kind of what like broke the camel's back, and she was like, nah, this ain't gonna work out. But when they were married, she finds out that she's pregnant. So basically, I mean, she was just struggling with Ryle and him bothering her, and then with the fact that she was pregnant. And then when she finally had her baby girl, she was thinking like, oh my god, like what am I gonna do with this guy, because I'm not gonna live my life with him. Like, this is not gonna work out for me, especially with my daughter like literally here in the world now. Like, I swear if anything happened to her, like that would not be okay with me. So she decides, nah, I'm done with you, Ryle. You are not my husband anymore. Like, we're done. Yeah, you could be the baby's dad, because you are. But, like, other than that, we ain't having a relationship like that anymore. And then, so basically, it ends with, after they got the divorce, it ends with, I think, like a couple years later, and then Lily runs into Atlas on the street when she was late for work, and, well, they were both technically late for work, but Lily was pushing Emerson, which is their baby's name, and I think she was either picking her up from Ryle or giving her to Ryle, either one, but she had the baby with her, and she ran into Atlas, and that was the end of this book. It was so cute. Like, let's see. Okay. He pulls me tight against him, and I laugh. With everything that happened since the day he came into my life, I never expected this outcome. I've hoped for a lot, but until now, I wasn't sure if it would ever happen. I close my eyes when I feel his lips meet the spot on my collarbone. He presses a gentle kiss there, and it feels just like the first time he kissed me all those years ago. He brings his mouth to my ear, and he whispers, he says, "You can stop swimming now, Lily. We finally reached the shore." Yeah, they have a thing with Finding Nemo and, like, Finding Dory, which I think is cute. But, like, basically, yeah, they meet at the end, and they do a little kiss. But the part that shattered me while reading this was when Emerson was first born, and she was talking to Ryle, and she was like, what if our daughter comes to you and it's like, "Daddy, my boyfriend hit me. Daddy, my boyfriend called me this, called me that. Dad, my boyfriend pushed me down the stairs." Like, everything that he did to her. She was basically like, "Ryle, like, what would you tell her to do if she came up with you with all those things and was like, 'My boyfriend did this, my boyfriend did that, blah, 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 blah.'" And he was like, "I would tell her that she's better, like, than that guy, and she should leave that guy and, like, never turn back to him." And, like, that part literally shattered me, like, reading this whole book. I didn't cry literally up until that point. Like, the ending was just, it, like I said, it shattered me. And then when I found out that she ran into Atlas, it made me a little bit happier. So it was a happy ending, but that part, that was the worst part of this book. I gotta say, the saddest part, at least. But yeah, this book is my baby. Always will be. I love it so much. I'm gonna have to reread it soon, but I love it. I suggest this book, guys. Please go get this if you haven't read it. I know it's kind of old, but it's great. Alright, so now it's to this new book. It starts with us. Oh my god. This book is my baby too. Oh my god. This book is definitely a lot happier than that one. I didn't cry at all in this one, but there were definitely moments where I was like, oh my gosh. Anyway, so this book starts out where this one ends. So, like, where they meet on the road, on the street, and then they're, like, running to work. Lily was late for work, and then Atlas had a break-in at his restaurant, basically. So he's like, oh my god, what the hell? Like, and it happened multiple times too. He has 2 different restaurants called Bibbs and Corrigan's, because that's his last name. And so he had break-ins multiple times from this one person. So they obviously looked at the security footage and was like, whoa, like, what the hell? Like, who is this person? So, yeah, that's how this starts. And then you find out that Lily and Ryle are trying to figure it out with their new baby, like how often he's gonna take her and how often Lily's gonna take her. And Ryle was just plain rude. Like, she had a key to her apartment and she gave it to him, so, like, if she wasn't home, like, he could just drop her off or anything. But she needs her privacy, man. She can't have him busting in all the time, you know, because of obvious reasons. So she's like, please, just give me my keys back. That's all I want from you. And he's like, no, I can't even put my kid to bed. Like, and she's like, I didn't say that. Like, you can obviously put your kid to bed. All I'm asking is for my key back. And he did not want to agree. But anyway, So we find out a little bit more about Atlas's past and about how his mother was with him. And apparently the reason why he was homeless was because his parents kicked him out the house. They're like, no, you can no longer live here. We don't want you anymore. Like, they were horrible parents. And so, like, he never talked to his mom, barely. Like, he barely talked to his dad either. But he found out that his mom was actually the reason why he couldn't really stay there. It wasn't his dad, but it was the way his mom acted was what not kept him there. And one day he gets a call from his mom, and he's like, what the hell? Why is she calling me? And he, like, obviously hangs up because he's like, I ain't talking to this lady. After what she did to me all these years, like, why would I want to talk to her, you know? So, yeah, you get that aspect. And then Ryle keeps coming in and bothering Lily about Emerson, like, how long can I have her? Because Lily wouldn't let him have Emerson overnight because, again, obvious reasons, and she doesn't want anything happening with her child. And so she was like, no, I can't trust you, I'm sorry, like, I can't leave you with her overnight, at least not for now. But he got her 2 days of the week, like during the day when Lily was at work. But he obviously wanted more time than that. And the main reason that, like I said, she wanted to wait, and she said, the reason I wanted to wait was because if anything did happen, I want Emerson to be able to come home and be like, Mom, Dad did this to me, Dad did that, and everything. And obviously that was a whole issue. He was not okay with that. He was like, no, I want to see my daughter more. Like, and then and then Lily's mom would keep her all the time too, so he got kind of pissed about that. And Ryle, in his mind, Atlas was the reason why they broke up, so he was always pissed at Atlas too. So when he found out that Atlas and Lily were together, he flipped, and he pushed Lily again. He literally pushed her up against the wall and put her in a chokehold, and I was like, oh hell no! Reading that? No, not again. And then, not only that, he went into Atlas's work and beat him up. Literally gave my man Atlas a bloody nose. And I'm like, bro, get a life. Like, no. Anyway, so Atlas and Lily have a relationship in this story. It's really cute. And then one day, Atlas is like, dude, why does my mom really want to get a hold of me? Like, what the hell does she want? So he meets her, he cooks her, no, it was near the end when he does this, but he sits down with her for dinner one night and talks to her, and he's like, okay, out with it, what do you want to talk to me about? And she looks at Atlas and goes, do you know where Josh is? And Atlas is like, who the hell is Josh? Like, what? Who's Josh? You've never told me about a Josh? I don't know. Is that like your boyfriend or something? Because, like, he had no idea. And then his mom goes, he's your brother. And he's like, what? He's like, how could you not tell me that I had a brother? And she's like, how did you not know? And he's like, because I was never at your house. Because you never let me live with you. How was I supposed to know? And then he finds out that his brother was actually the person who was damaging the restaurants, and it was really cute. He sat down with his brother and had a conversation with him and was like, what's going on with you? Like, why have you been doing this? Why have you been sleeping here? Because that's the other thing, he'd been like sleeping around the restaurants too, so he looks like really creepy, you know. So he gets a lot of information on that, and they start growing a bond, which I thought was really cute. I loved the relationship between Atlas and Lily, but I also loved the relationship between Atlas and, what was his name again? It wasn't Leo. I forgot his name again. I literally just said it. Josh, that's his name, yeah. So, sorry. I love the relationship between Atlas and Josh too. And basically, it was just a happy ending for everyone, because Ryle, even though he still has some problems, he kind of got the help that he deserved. And in the end, he was okay with Lily being with Atlas, and he was kind of getting better at trusting Emerson being with Atlas, basically. So he grew, and then the mom of Atlas didn't grow at all. Atlas was trying to make a plan with her. He was like, look, I'm going to take sole custody of Josh just because I've grown attached to him now. Like, I've learned so much about him. You've had such a good relationship, but I don't want to keep you out of his life. Like, I want you to get better, and I don't want him to go through a life like I had with no parents that love him, basically. So he makes a deal with her, and he's like, here, listen, I'm going to set up a family dinner every Tuesday. You're welcome to come if you want, but if not, well, sure, whatever. And so she only went to one of his baseball games and nothing else. So yeah, that kind of sucks. She didn't grow at all. But oh, the other cute thing was Josh has to do this assignment for school, and it was like a family tree assignment thing, but he obviously has no idea anything about his family. So he's like, how am I supposed to do this assignment with like nothing to write about? So Atlas comes home one day and sees that his homework isn't done, and Atlas is like, yo, what the heck, I told you to get this homework done, why isn't it done? And then basically that's what Josh says to him. He's like, this is a family tree assignment, I know nothing about it, I don't know what to write. And in the end, he finally gets it done, and he does this little seedling with like a branch poking out, and then he writes Josh, and then on the other the branch, he writes Atlas. And I was like, oh my god, that's so cute, because literally Atlas is like his only family. But at the end, he ends up getting an even bigger family. Like, he has a best friend named Theo that is kind of cute too. And then Lily and Emerson end up moving in with Atlas and Josh. So they're all like a cute big family in the end. And then, so you get that in like the second to last chapter. And then the last chapter, you get to hear Atlas's wedding vows to, I'm sorry, I can't talk today. I don't know what's going on. You get to see Atlas's wedding vows to Lily in the end, like the last chapter, and it was so cute. Like, this last line, it just melts my heart. I'm sorry about my dog. This last line here. P.S. It is my wish for you to be my fish. It's so cute. Like, I'm dying. And this last chapter of his vows, I'm going to read this to you too, because it's just freaking adorable. But you once told me I was a realist, so I want to end my vows realistically. In my heart, I believe we're going to leave here today and face a journey together that's full of hills, valleys, peaks, and canyons. Sometimes you're going to need me to hold your hand down the hills, and sometimes I'll need you to lead me up the mountain. But everything from this point forward, we're going to face together. It's you and me, Lily, in good times and bad, for richer or poorer, in sickness and in health, in the past and for forever. You're my favorite person, always have been, always will be. I love you, everything that you are, Atlas. Oh, it's so cute. And like, that's basically how the book ended. And I didn't tear up in this one, but I was close with like happy tears. But like, Ryle pushing her again in this book, hell no. Get away from her. Sure, she's the mother of your baby, but that's the only reason. That's the only reason you guys have a connection. Other than that, it's just drop off the baby and go. Like, nothing else is happening between you two, basically. But yeah, I hope I did this review okay for the books, because they are both really, really cute and great. But I got kind of tongue-tied with my words, so I apologize for that. But I hope you enjoyed this video anyway.